unstoppable musical force known as Lita Ford. Lita, welcome back to Psycho Babble.
Thank you, thank you. It's so good to be back.
Now, this is our first chance to talk with you since your wonderful book, the autobiography Living Like a Runaway, came out last year. And if someone were teaching a class called So You Want to Be a Rock and Roll Star, this would be the textbook. Because while it's great to have a gift, a vision, and a dream and bring that to fruition, if you're going to pursue it, you better be prepared for pitfalls you never anticipate.
Yeah.
And you better believe in yourself, because you're going to have to fight tooth and nail with a lot of people who don't.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that the lesson pretty much we're taking away from Living Like a Runaway?
Yeah, it is. It is. You know, it's got its ups and downs, and I wanted to put that across to the fans.
Well, and the ups were huge, and the downs as well. But one of the things, the first thing that comes across is that your parents believed in you and were behind you 100%. And that goes a long way to achieving a dream when you've got a support team like that. Now, it's also chock full of sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Of course.
Have you heard back from any former friends and lovers since the book came out?
No, actually, I have not.
Oh, okay.
No.
Well, so they must be okay with it. I mean, you didn't really bash anybody.
No.
You portrayed them as they are, for better or worse.
Nobody was married. Nobody had children.
Right, right.
You know, this is all pre...
And there's no surprises that some of these people did a little drugs. One of the funniest stories is after you had recorded a top 10 single, Close Your Eyes Forever, with Ozzy, you ran into him and he couldn't remember who you were.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a really bad time in his life for drugs. Yeah. I mean, you know, we all know Ozzy's done drugs, right? But this time in particular was one of the worst times of his life. Mm-hmm. He had choked, and apparently Sharon was dead. She was clinically dead. Her heart stopped, and she pressed charges on him, and they put him in jail, and then he had to go to rehab, and she's managing me at the same time. Right. So obviously it will affect my career as well as his career, and it did. But a lot of stuff came out during that time that I don't think she was aware of. Okay. Like, she may have thought I was one of those girls he was having sex with, and I wasn't.
He was having hits with you.
He was having his first top 10 single with me.
How about it? Yeah, I'm that chick. One of the interesting, and this may only be interesting to me on a geek level, is that, you know, we all think of the time from when you left the Runaways, you immediately segued into your megastar 80s success. That was not the case. You, for one thing, you had to get a real job for a little while as a personal trainer. Oh, yeah. And then the other thing, you knew how to sing, you knew how to play guitar, but you had to learn how to play guitar and sing at the same time. Yeah. Tell me about that.
I had to really plan it out.
Yeah. I'm not a musician, so that seems natural to me, but it's not.
There wasn't a female. There was not a female that could play guitar and sing. Mm-hmm. One in the world didn't exist. Mm-hmm. And I thought, I'm going to be that one. I'm going to do this. Mm-hmm. And I got a job, so I didn't have to go, Mom, can I have $200 to pay rent for storage up the street for my Marshalls? So I had storage money. I was able to set up a PA system, and I cranked that Marshall and sang to my favorite songs every day. And then I pictured an audience and trying to learn how to be a front woman at the same time. So after a couple of years of trying to reinvent myself, I did put together a 3-piece band, and the first album was signed instantly, Out for Blood.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other, one of the other lessons that should be taken away. It's one thing to have a musical gift and to be able to play guitar, but you got to work your ass off, and you continually work your ass off. Had to, your success with the Runaways, had to reinvent yourself after that, which a lot of people don't understand is an entire process.
Oh my God.
Yeah, nothing was handed to you.
No.
No. And we take it for granted today because there's so many chicks with guitars and chicks in bands. There was a time when that was not the case.
That's true.
Yeah. Now, do you hear from a lot? Are these young ladies coming up today? Are they appreciative of the doors you kicked in for them?
They are so appreciative. It's wonderful. Mm-hmm. It's really wonderful. It makes you think, you know, I did it. I did it. I'm there.
Yeah. Lizzie Hale comes to mind. I know you've done some work with her
Oh
recently.
God, Lizzie's the best.
Yeah, how about it?
Yeah.
And she says the same about you.
And she don't hold back. You kicked the fucking door down. What are you talking about? You know, well, I did this. She said, you kicked the fucking door down.
Yeah.
She's great.
Now, recently you came out with Time Capsule.
Yeah.
It was a collection of things, already recorded material that you had laying around, and some real gems on there. Where Will I Find My Heart Tonight, Black Leather Heart. What was that process like, going through things you hadn't listened to in ages?
Oh, they are gems.
Yeah.
They really are. And these were songs that I had produced.
Okay.
And the only reason they never made it on a record was because I had produced them.
Really?
The label did not want the artist, particularly a female, producing her own stuff. And I killed that. I killed these songs. I kicked ass.
Yeah.
You know,
Little Wing.
We killed them. Yeah. And the producer, the engineer, George Tutko, worked well with me. So the two of us worked, you know, as producer and engineer. We made this album come to life with all these wonderful celebrities that are on here, and the songs are phenomenal.
They really are. You know, I went into it with some trepidation because I thought, oh, why wasn't this released before? And then I started listening, and I thought, why wasn't this released before? And you talked about the record industry kind of poo-pooing you and, you know, putting you off to the side. Is there some satisfaction in the knowledge that you've outlived the record industry and you're still standing and they're kind of gone? You know?
Yeah. I don't know. They had some issues within the company right at the height of my career. I don't know why they always got to pick the height of my career to have problems.
Right.
But Bob Buziak, who had given me his support at the label to, you know, have money to do videos, have money for tour buses, have money for whatever I wanted to do, and they paid him off and pushed him out of the company, and he was gone.
Wow.
Next thing I know, people are closing doors in my face at the label. You know, Bob's not here anymore, and it's not that they didn't like me.
Right.
They liked me.
And that's not necessarily a gender thing. I've talked to other artists who,
right.
It's just, you know, you're the flavor of the month, and then your backer is gone, you're out, you know.
Right.
So it was a stupid industry that made tons of money, it seems like.
Stupid industry.
Yeah.
The new president, Joe Galante, I can mention his name. He actually wrote me a letter in his own handwriting on his own stationery, even had his own stationery, and it said, "You are one kick-ass lady. However, I don't know what to do with you." I'm nominated, and at this point, I was nominated for a Grammy for Playing with Fire.
Okay.
Playing with Fire, nominated for a Grammy. And they dropped me.
And we don't know what to do with you. You're really good. Oh my God.
Sit on this. People are so brave behind their laptops and their computers.
Oh, yeah.
The crap that comes out of their mouth.
Well, that's the other thing. I mean, when you were coming up first in the 70s and 80s, the press was Cream Magazine, Roxine. There were a few, Rolling Stone. But now every idiot who can work long enough at Jiffy Lube to afford a computer is a rock critic, and you're subject to the world's opinion out there.
Right.
That's kind of weird. Do you read that stuff?
Hell no.
Good for you. It's stupid.
No. I don't read any of it. I don't pay attention to it. I just keep being Lita.
There you. Well, tell me about being Lita. You've been playing guitar for a long time now. Are you still finding new ways of going from one end of the fretboard to the other?
Well, it's kind of hard to explain, but when I was married for 16 years with my ex, he actually, and I don't talk about this, and this is one thing that's in the book, it comes up, Roadblock, he brainwashed me against music. He didn't want me listening to music.
People should know you were living on an island.
He took
in seclusion, and with a guy who didn't want this mega artist playing music.
Yeah, no, he has a jealousy problem, and he didn't want me. He wanted me there for him, and that's it. He didn't want anyone calling me Lita Ford.
Really?
Had they mentioned Ford, Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, anyway, a lot of it messed with my head. I mean, I was post-traumatic stress when I came out of that relationship, and I had to learn a lot of things. How did I run around the stage and play guitar like that? You know.
Did you watch videos of yourself?
I did.
That's great. I want to be that girl again. That's so cool. Well, and you've done it. We have caught many of your performances in recent years, and again, blown away just by the caliber of musicianship. We saw you on a tour with a couple of other big-name bands that will remain nameless, and after your set, we said, we're really not going to stick around and watch those guys now. We've seen our show, so it was amazing. Who's in the band these days?
Bobby Rock's
still on drums. Okay.
Yeah,
Marty on bass.
Marty O'Brien on bass.
Okay.
And Patrick Kennison on guitar and vocals.
Okay, those guys have been with you for a few years now. So you guys are kicking ass.
We're kicking ass. We haven't stopped touring.
Well, I wish you would bring out the follow-up to the album "Living Like a Runaway."
Yeah.
That you did with Gary Hoey, which was just phenomenal. Is that coming down? Is that in the pike? Or?
We are starting it. We've actually started the first 3 songs, and after the NAMM show, which is the end of January, I'm going to Gary's for 10 days, where we're gonna pick up where we left off.
Hallelujah, that's great. A lot of great stuff that came out of that. Okay, and I'm not going to keep you much longer, but what else can we look forward to in the future from Lita Ford?
Well, so far the new album is going to be priority.
Okay, good.
You know, and working on the book and trying to promote the book, and
which is now available in paperback, I understand. Living Like a Runaway.
Yes, now available in paperback. It's even in the airports. Hudson News.
That's so cool. And again, you know, I've read a lot of rock and roll autobiographies. This is the one that tells you the stories you want to hear. A lot of great stuff in there. You know, tragic and just surreal. You know, just the whole Runaways thing, a bunch of teenage girls zipping around the world. It's just, if you didn't know it was real, you would think they're making this crap up. But that stuff really happened.
HarperCollins, when I said in one of the manuscripts that I had sent over to HarperCollins, my mother and father never told me that there's gay people. So I never knew that sometimes a girl goes with a girl and sometimes a guy goes with the guy. I was completely unaware. So when I joined the Runaways and found out that they were with each other, I flipped out.
Right.
I quit the band.
You quit the band for a while.
I took my guitar. I didn't say a word. Nobody knew where I was going or why. And I went home. And when I got home, I blamed it on Kim Fowley. My mother and father said, "What are you doing here?" And I said, "Oh, it was Kim. It was Kim." But it wasn't.
Right.
You know. But
you were just freaked out.
I had to figure it out.
Yeah.
That it's no big deal and you're going to survive it.
Right,
you know, so chill.
And then when you came back to the band asked you back and things just...
But HarperCollins wrote me and they said, "Really? Is this true? Should we take this out? This can't be true." And I'm like, "It's true. Don't take it out."
Right. And who knew?
Completely.
Again, chock full of great stories. Living Like a Runaway. Pick it up. Pick up the album Time Capsule if you haven't done so. And, of course, the album Living Like a Runaway. Lita Ford, thank you for doing what you do.
Oh, thank you for being here. And we will see you tonight.
The devil